Hello everyone and welcome to my video. So the goal of today's video is going to be kind of giving you a background of my project and what I use as the guidelines of how I'm going to measure my students' learning. And my project mainly focuses on assessment. So I use Google Forms as my main source of assessment, and I've used it actually a lot in class, and it works really well. I think Google Forms has so many benefits to it that the fact is it's ease of access. I think everyone can actually work it no matter what subject area you teach. You can find a way to use Google Forms in your benefit. And not only for your benefit, but the benefit of the students. Because there's a lot of functions within it that allow them to kind of understand how to use this. And on top of that, it kind of gives them self-feedback, which is the most important thing. So let me just explain how I outline my project. Now, firstly, I teach social studies. So for me, I picked certain history lessons that I've actually done this already before. In my classroom, so I have some background in Google Forms. So I did mine on prehistory. So this consists of the Paleolithic Age and the Neolithic era. So these are a few connected lessons together. So this could be considered the first unit of ninth grade history. So what the most important thing is, Google Forms is going to give you kind of the end result of what you're going through for your lesson. So when I'm going through this, I kind of give them a lot of background. I give them First, I always start with do nows. I'm gonna give them kind of to set the stage for them for what we're gonna do in the next few days. But throughout, I'm giving them guided questions that help them understand some deeper level understanding of what we're talking about. So I go through all the different technologies, the different tools, the differences between the different beings of that time period, and then at the end of the class of that or end of that section, I give them an end of class reflection. So let me just bring that up for you guys now. So the end of class reflection is really important. This is where the Google Forms component comes in. Now, the Google Forms has so many benefits, and I think that the way I use it is you have to give feedback. Now, I can make it almost like a point system where I give them certain points on the correct answer. And what happens is when the students answer these questions, now these questions basically are overarching for the entire segment. And I think that they give you a kind of a mix of all different Bloom's taxonomy higher level questions. They give you some your opinion questions, some basic questions about information. Then they always ask you to expand on what the questions originally asking you. But the most important thing is I provide documents. Now these documents aren't just out of the blue. These things are coming from document practice worksheets that I created that they also complete during classes. So this is an example of just one of them. This is the first one that we usually do for the Paleolithic Age, and it gives them kind of like a nice range of all these different things that we kind of focus on. So it gives you terms, it gives you documents about specific ways historians learn about history. It also gives you documents. So my lessons are kind of giving you so much content within them that this will take a few days to do. And this lesson, on top of the Neolithic Age lesson, which is the next part, kind of give you a lot of content to go with it. But what's important to understand is that I embed so many different things inside of my lesson. So I have different do nows, I have documents embedded, information embedded. I always highlight the content itself, and then at the very end, after all the document practice we've done, the reflection always goes along with that. What we learned, what the objectives are. And I think Google Forms is the best way to assess your objectives because you can do so much with it. Like I said, I provide feedback for every single one of my questions. And I think that's important because it provides students the ability to self-reflect. I think that's something that we kind of forget about that is an important part of being a student. You can always be told what's right and what's wrong by a teacher, but if you don't find that answer yourself, then you're not really learning. And I feel like that's what Google Forms provides. It gives you that self-reflection that a lot of people kind of forget about is really important. Now I provide feedback for each one of those questions, and I outline it in my paper. I outline it within the form itself. But the fact is, Google Forms has so many benefits that it's hard to kind of count. I think the ease of access is really important. It allows everyone to kind of be able to use this easily. You can do documents, you can do essay questions, you can do all these different things, and on top of that, you can provide feedback for your students. And I think that's the most important. And I feel like Google Forms for me works so well when it comes to assessing my students, but also assessing myself. I feel like for me, I need to understand whether I'm getting the material out to them the right way and whether they're absorbing that material. Because, we can always just keep teaching and we can feel like that we're doing the best job possible. But if the students aren't learning and they aren't obtaining that material and understanding on a deeper level, then maybe we're not doing it the right way. And I think Google Forms provides that both for me and the student itself.